Yes, hello.
Hello there. Welcome to today's webinar. I'm Steve Resigno with Lou, powered by Evisys, and I'm joined today by Shauna Mesher, who is our Director of Sales and Marketing here at Evisys. And today we're going to talk about big ticket sales. We know that summer's upon us. This is the time of year with the selling season, if you will. And there's all kinds of stuff going on in your businesses, right? You might be doing fairs, you might be doing shows, you might be doing tent sales, or just have a regular in-store summer promotion going on. So we're going to talk today about how you can set yourself up for success when it comes to big ticket sales by kind of some organization things you can do on your own. And then of course, we're going to show some loose software features that'll help make big ticket sales really seamless and easy and make sure you can maximize all your opportunities. So Shauna, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. So we're going to jump in. We're going to talk about basically three pretty major features in Lou today that all have to do with big ticket sales. We're going to talk about kits. There's two types of kits. There's a static kit. A static kit is something where the SKUs never change. You can't customize it, but it's just a combination of a bunch of SKUs that you always sell in a package, right? So those are your static kits. And then we're going to talk about dynamic kits for a minute. And dynamic kits are where you can actually customize it. So if you have like a hot tub, for example, you can pick the shell color and the cabinet color. You can add the accessories, the chemical kits, put a labor SKU of delivery in this kit. And it's all one kit to make sure it all goes through your system and the customer gets the right products at the right time. It's also great for kind of some add-on sales, which I'll share with you in a minute. And then the third thing we're going to touch on this morning is special order items. So unlike a kit where it's a bunch of SKUs made up into one kit, a special order item is really a customizable order where you actually create we call them attributes. So you have basically one SKU and you can have thousands of attributes. Those work well for like pool tables and patio furniture and that sort of thing. So we're going to kind of do that this morning, share that with you a little bit. We'll pause here and there for some questions. We have a panelist, Kim is our panelist today, so she'll be taking questions and answers and sharing them with us as we go through this. Just as a reminder, we are recording this, so we will be sending this out afterwards. So if you want to review it or share it with any of your team, please feel free to do so. So let's jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, Shauna, and you can kind of help me with this. So now we've got, this is now the Lou dashboard you're seeing up here. So the first thing I want to do is kind of show what a static kit kind of looks like. So I've got a static kit built in here for some startup chemicals for a hot tub, let's say. So I find it here, startup kit chlorine. I go into the SKU profile here, and you'll notice on the SKU profile, it's got these tiles here. One of them is kit questions. Well, this is a static kit, so nothing's going to change. So I'll review these with you in the dynamic kit, but you notice in this kit, there's no questions. And the reason why is it's a static kit. So if you go into the actual SKU itself, the static kit SKU, you can see here's my SKU. I've got it in my SKU category. I've got my price. I've got when I print estimates and orders, I want to hide the SKU lines and I want to hide the prices. I can toggle those on or off. In this case, I usually don't want to show all the detail. I just want to have the kit. So now these are the items of the kit. Again, it's static, so it never changes. So these are all the items. You can add anything you want here to make up your kit. And then, so that's your kit. Now I want to look at a dynamic kit, show you what that looks like. So I'll go back into my inventory search screen. I know I've got a Vanguard model spa kit in there. And there it is. So again, I'll go into the SKU profile. And here you notice kit questions. Now I do have questions, right? I've got the model, color, the cover, the lifter, the steps, the chemical startup, delivery, and maybe an entertainment option. So in these questions, you can go into any of your questions. You can update the question, you can update the answers, or you can remove them from the kit. So it's interesting to note here that the answers for this particular spa model, these are all SKUs for a particular spa model. So when your salespeople are going to enter this in as a quote or an estimate, these will all be readily available. And I can show you what that looks like. But before I do that, Shauna, you ran a hot tub sales team, large hot tub company, multiple stores. I imagine you guys did a lot of sales, fairs, tent sales, home shows. Why is it important? What were some of the tricks and tips you did to prepare for those type of events?
Yeah, Steve, that's a good question. So I think it really just comes down to keeping it simple for the company, but also keeping it simple for your team, right? So it's our job as leaders to kind of pave the way and make sure that the team has everything that they need when they need it. So a couple of things that we would encourage people to do is, one, you got to look like you're having a sale all the time. There should always be a reason to buy on any given Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon. So make sure, we always made sure our showrooms had balloons. I was, people would laugh that I was so crazy about balloons. There's a certain way they go up. It's all about the look. As North Americans, we're visual. We shop with our eyes first. So it's important that the team looks great, they're excited, and your showroom looks beautiful as well. So that's one thing that I think is really important. Secondly, tactically, it's really important to be reaching out to your leads ahead of time, especially ones that are already in your system, right? Yeah. You want them to feel special. You want them to feel like VIPs. So reaching out to them and saying like, hey, we're having a tent sale next week or this coming weekend. I want to give you first dibs. Mm-hmm. We only have a certain amount of serial numbers here. Hint, make sure you know your serial numbers, make sure you know your inventory, and Luke can help with all of that. We can get into that later. But
smart, creating an urgency, giving them first crack because they've already shown an interest.
Yeah.
So
Great. Make them feel special, give them that exclusive offer before the event. You can do some pre-sale orders where you can put an estimate, put a card on file, promote it to an order when that event starts. That's how the owner wants it done. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but those are a couple things that I think are really important to making sure you really maximize this time, because we know in most companies, it can be seasonal, right? So if we don't really maximize this summer season when people's backyards are ready, it's not raining all over the country, they can get the hot tub or the pool in their backyard, we can kind of kill the whole year. So it's really, this is season, this is the Super Bowl right now, and we got to make sure that we're ready every single day. So that's what I would do.
All right, great. Okay, well, thank you for that. So that's kits. So the next thing I want to talk about briefly, and then I'll go in and demonstrate kind of some kitting on estimates and sales orders and that sort of thing. But I want to look at or talk about the special order item. So this here, I have this SKU is actually a special order item that I created. You can tell that by the icon here, and it says right up here, special order item, gives me the price. So when I go in to edit the SKU, this gives me the details. That's my SKU, that's my description. I've got it under my categories, I got my pricing, all that stuff. But the key to special order items is these attributes. So even though this is one SKU, as you see here, it's 55-0125. But now check this out, these SKU attributes. So these are all things that you can create on the fly as you're building a special order item. You can copy attributes from another special order item. And so in here, these are all the attributes. So to show you what that looks like in a special order item, I'm going to just do a test here. So when you're entering this on a sales order, this modal is going to come up and give you these options. So you can simply pick the size of your table, finish, the sites, and again, you can customize this however you do in your business. They want a gold plate kit here, and then I'm going to save it, which that was a test. So that's just an idea of how it flows through. So now, before we actually jump into creating an estimate and promoting it to a sales order and invoice and all that stuff, I want to reach out to our panelist, Kim, and see if there's any initial questions out there before we jump into this.
I have one question, and that was, can you use kits via the point of sale system?
Yes, you can. Static kits, I wouldn't recommend a dynamic kit through the POS system, but a static kit, yes. So let's go in and look at, I'll just create a sales order for a static kit here. I'll just pick a customer here. I'll pick a department. It's going to be, they're actually, let's say they're going to take it with them. I'm going to create this. So now I see on my sales order, I've got the profile of the order, I've got the profile of the customer. If I needed to create a scheduled task, I could do that here. I could put in any notes or internal notes here. But for this purpose, we're just going to sell them. They bought a house. Tell me if this ever happened, Shauna. They bought a house, they inherited a hot tub, they have no idea what to do, they've never owned a hot tub. So one thing that I think is very valuable is we always had these what we call startup kits in our showroom. So why was that a benefit, do you think?
My gosh, that's something so important. Having startup kits with everything you need to get a hot tub or a pool started, multiple of them ready to go. One, it makes the customer feel incredibly special when you can just grab a kit and say, look, this has everything in it that you'll need to get going. Secondly, it's really fun to put like a little quick guide in there, what to add, when to add it, because these people are coming in overwhelmed. How many people do you talk to that are like, I don't know chemistry, I'm not a chemist, right? We don't expect you to be. So we need to make it easy for them. And it's also, Steve, to add, it's pool season right now. There's a lot of people, if maybe they're not investing in a full real pool, I'll say, and they're just doing those pop-up kind of splash pools for their kids. They're buying that online. They're coming in. They didn't think about chemicals. They didn't think about keeping their family safe with clean, safe water. And so they're walking in and they're relying on us to give them everything they need. So again, just being able to pop up that little tote on the counter, say, I've got everything you need, get them in and out quickly, and kind of get back to the next thing, because we're all busy, so are they. So
right. So you've taken the time, you've physically built this kit, and so now we want to sell this kit. So we can sit there and go through every single SKU that's in the kit and add them all manually that way. Or in this case, we have a static kit. So I've selected startup kit chlorine here. I'm going to hit this plus button. And you can see that it has the kit here, and it has all the items in this kit are listed here. Now, because I've toggled that I don't want to display the line items or the prices, when I print it, hit the sales order here, and share this tab instead. So now you can see what it looks like when it's printed. It just has the one line item, the price, and it doesn't list out every detail. You can, of course, do it to list out every detail if you choose in the pricing, but most folks like us wanted to just have the one line item, the one price. And you can do that in a static kit or a dynamic kit. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now I've got to go back to my loose screen here.
Yeah, that's great, because you could give them a discount too, right? That was a round number, and I bet all those products don't add up to be that exact 125. So, buy everything you need today, you get a 10% discount, or you get a free bottle of test strips. People love that. I mean, it's great.
Cool. So that's static kits. Let me pause again real quick, Kim, and just see if there's any static kit questions out there. Try to say that fast 3 times.
Not at this time.
Okay, great. Now we'll create an estimate for a dynamic kit. And one thing I'd like to note here is the cool thing about Lou is it's an all-in-one cloud-based business software. So literally you can access Lou from all of these different events you're at, right?
Yeah,
as long as you got an internet connection or a hotspot or whatever, you can literally stand there with a tablet and do everything we're doing up here on the screen on the fly with the customer.
What a game changer to be able to stand at a tent sale in a parking lot and say, we're going to take care of all this right now, ring you up, take your deposit. There's no more of, let me get it to my office gal back, on Monday when she's back in the office, and we'll get all this in the system. It's just, we're capturing people when they're emotionally ready for that sale.
Capture that deposit right in the fly.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to build a estimate here for a dynamic kit, and then we'll take this one all the way through to the end. So my distribution method on this, of course, is going to be delivery and installation. It's going to be an estimate. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. And you'll notice this document looks real similar to the sales order, with the exception of it's now an estimate, and then these outcome options change. But same thing here. We've got the profile of the estimate. We've got the profile of the customer. We could click this button and look at them on the map. We could go to a satellite view and even drill down into the backyard to see where the hot tub's going to go in this case. If you do any pre-site inspections, you can schedule that right here on the estimate to go out and do a site inspection. And again, notes and details that display to the customer or ones that only display internally here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give an estimate for a Vanguard spa kit. And so here, much like we saw in the test when I looked at the back end of kitting, so I'm going to hit this plus here. Now it's going to bring up this, I call it a wizard, but it's actually all of your kit questions. So in the dynamic kit, because it's customizable, you notice here it says question is required, select one answer. So I can only pick one hot tub, right? So in this case, I'll pick this one here, this Alpine White Shell. I'll go next. Now it brings up my cover options. I pick the cover I want to go with it. Next. I pick my lifter I want to go with it, if they want a lifter. And you notice some of these questions are also optional. So, how many times do you say, I'm not going to pay that for a step, I'll build my own, right?
Yeah.
And then what do? They come back and buy a step.
Yeah.
So again, another opportunity for kind of add-on sales, because this is teeing up your salespeople to ask these questions as they're going through it. Again, they're on the fly. They could be on their iPad, whatever, doing it, right? So let's say they do want a step. Now that we got to pick their water care, so I'll just give them the classic chlorine startup, but you can see all my water care options are here. I can select all that applies. So let's say they wanted to do chlorine and say silk balance, right? I could have both of those on there. And then they want a spa delivery. I always used a crane delivery as a line item with zero cost because we always wanted the customer to pay the crane people, right? Because we didn't want liability.
Yeah.
So if I put that on there, it'll at least put it on the order and it lets my schedulers and delivery folks know that we do need to order the crane.
Yeah.
So that's why that's on there at zero cost. And then last thing is this is an entertainment system. So let's say they don't want it, just leave it blank. Now it brings up all those kit items are now all on here. So you just review this. You've got your pricing up here. And so I'll go ahead and save that to the order. So again, all the SKUs are now on here under this kit right here, right? So again, if I print, I can print with just says Vanguard Spa Kit, has the total price. I can print all the items with no pricing on the items except the one price, or I can just have, like I showed you all on the static kit, just the one line item, one price. So you have three different options when you go to send this to your customer or print it out for your customer or whatever. So that's how easy it is to create a sales order with a dynamic kit on there. You customize all the questions. You might want to add things like a handy rail or an umbrella or suggested stuff that a lot of folks love using with their hot tubs. That's a good place to kind of add those questions in. Your answers are always going to be askew, so it'll just add them to the order. Yeah. So then let's say that some time goes by. You've given this customer the estimate. They come back in or they give you a phone call and they're saying, you know what, we want this thing. So you simply go back into the estimate, which I'll do that so you can see it. So another little cool tool about Lou is all your recent transactions can be found by hitting this little icon right here on whatever tile it is. So if I just do this for estimates, it brings up my most recent estimates. There it is right there. I'm going to open it. Again, streamlining, saving some time. So they want it, simply hit the win button. My reason is if we want it, it's good. I'm going to change it now to a sales order and I'm going to promote it to a sales order. So you don't have to retype in all those SKUs. You don't have to go back and create a new sales order. You just simply promote this to the sales order. And then at that time, obviously, you're going to schedule the delivery. I'll show you how easy that is. It automatically populates here. I'm just going to change this to delivery. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to say it's going to be a delivery. And my division is delivery. I can hit here and pick a date, or I can search the calendar and see what's available. In this case, I'll just keep it for today. You can put a time frame in here if you choose. You can leave that blank. If they want an earlier appointment, if they're a month out or so and you get the hot tub in sooner, they'll say, yeah, we'll take it if it gets here sooner. You just toggle that on. That'll show up on your schedule. And then you assign your personnel. Who's going to do it? So I'll just pick myself. And since I can't deliver a hot tub on myself, you're going to help me, Shauna. So
You're busy today.
So you notice it's got me on here as a primary and Shauna as my helper. It tells me that I'm overbooked. So it gives you a lot of alerts that are handy. You can actually assign your vehicle to the task as well, and then any assets. So say we got to take a spa dolly with us. So then I save that, and now you can see over here that it is a pending task. One task pending for 2 hours, and then this is the actual, some more details about the task. I can simply update it here, whatever. Since if you notice here in this icon for the actual spa SKU, it has a different icon than this here. This is an inventory SKU down below, and this is a serialized SKU. So we know you got to track serial numbers with hot tubs,
Yeah.
right, and other equipment. So right now I don't have any serial number selected. So I can simply go in here. It won't let me deliver it unless I have a serial number. So I just pull this, all my serial numbers that I've ever received are on this list. I just pick the one I want, save it, and now you'll notice that serial number has been assigned over here, right? So now it's all good to go. Delivery guys have gone out and delivered it. It's now a sales order. So the next step, of course, is to invoice it. Actually, I'm sorry, before we actually go deliver it, we're going to take a deposit. So we're going to take, whatever your rules are for deposits. Is it $500? Is it 20% down? Is it 50%? Is it paid in full? I love paid in full, but so this is a $20,000 deal. So let's just say they're going to put half down. And they're going to give me a check and save that. So now I've made a $10,000 deposit on that order. It shows you down here where it's been applied to that document of the sales order. And so now we've taken an estimate, we've promoted it to a sales order, we've scheduled the delivery, and we've taken a deposit.
Yep.
So now time goes by and they've delivered it, and now we're ready to close that out. So again, I could just go into sales orders to look for it, or I know here it's my most recent sales order. If I open that baby back up, and I make sure everything's good, the serial number's on it, everything got delivered, the task would show up as completed, and I need to invoice it. So I can invoice all. I could partially invoice it. How many times did you go out and delivery guys forgot the step, right?
Yeah.
So you couldn't invoice the step.
Yeah.
In this scenario, they've delivered everything, we're good to go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and invoice this. And then this, now it just turned into an invoice. Up here, outcomes different. Everything else pretty much looks the same. All your SKUs are down here. And so the last thing we need to do is take a payment. And we're going to go ahead and pay that in full. And that's it. So that's the steps to take it from estimate, promote it to a sales order, turn it into invoice, take payment. So
easy.
Pretty easy. All right, so that's kind of a basic overview of kits, both static and dynamic. So again, I'll take a brief pause here, reach out to Kim, our panelist, and see if there's any questions that have rolled in.
Well, you did such a fantastic job of explaining everything so far that there's no questions.
All right, well, that's good. All right, so the last thing I want to show you here is a special order item. So I'll just do this right from a sales order. So I'll create a new sales order. I'll use the same customer. The department's going to be my Vancouver show. I'm going to deliver this sales order, and this is going to be a special order. I'll just put billiards for now. But you can type anything you want in there to help you identify it down the road. So I'm going to go in here. I've already got my special order items built out. So I'm going to go ahead, and this person is interested in a 8-foot custom all housing, an all housing special order. So again, I can go in here and look at my updates. The attributes are already built out. So actually, let me delete this one. And I'm going to do a different one to kind of show you. I'm going to go ahead and create one. So creating a special order item. So you go into your inventory search screen. You go up to the right-hand corner and you hit create SKU. Now notice you have all these different SKU types you can create. In this case, we're going to create a special order item. So I'm going to call this a special order 7 foot. I'm going to just copy and paste that into my description. My SKU category is going to be game tables. My vendor is going to be Olhausen. And I'm just going to give a cost of $1,500. Click this button here, copies my SKU and description for me automatically. I can either sell it by a fixed price or margin. I'm going to choose margin on this one. And let's say I want to make 50% margin. So I'll go ahead and hit create here. And so now I've got them in the SKU profile. I go to my SKU attributes. And I actually want to copy my attributes because I've already created them for another kit that I know is really close. So I'm going to pick this one. And there's all my attributes.
That's cool. That's so easy.
So again, I'll just show you what what they look like. So these are my answers. So the cool thing about attributes is, so this 7-foot table, that's the price, right?
Yeah.
But if they want to up the size of the table, you can see that I have incremental price increases here. Those will automatically show up on the order. So you don't have to think about, oh, that's an extra 25 bucks or that's an extra 100 bucks or whatever. So that's pretty cool.
That's really cool. And I can see how this would work for so many industries. You know, you got billiards here as an example, but jewelry is a good example. You know, you have different carat sizes costing different amounts of money for like engagement rings or pools, different liners, or, you know, an upgraded cost or different metal types. And how annoying is it to have catalogs upon catalogs that your salespeople have to flip through to try to figure out how much everything costs. So this is really cool.
So this puts it all in one place, quick, simple way to go through. Just like the dynamic kit, you just go through and pick the attributes as you go. When you're done, you save them. They all show up on the order, create the PO, bring it in. And these are for truly customizable special orders, right? Anything else like a hot tub or a pool or whatever, that's more of a kit thing.
Right.
But these are where there's so many options, so many color changes, so many size things.
Yeah.
So,
maybe like a custom sauna could be a good option for special order items.
Right.
Sell it once ever.
Yeah, it's basically something you don't stock normally.
Yeah.
And you're really creating a special custom order for this thing.
Yeah, that's cool, Steve.
So that's pretty much it as far as static kits go, dynamic kits go, and then special order items go. So just a really easy way to manage all of your stuff in one area, make it really easy for your sellers this selling season to get out there and get some revenue rolling, right? All right, so that pretty much wraps up. But before we jump off here, I want to give Kim one more opportunity to see if there's any questions out there.
Still a quiet crew out there. No questions so far.
All right. Well, thank you, Kim, for being our panelist today. So that's pretty much it for today, folks. I hope you've got something out of this, at least enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Please reach out to us with any questions. It's lou@evisys.com if you want to know anything more about kitting, special order items, or just anything about Lou in general. And I'd also like to remind you, please join us next month on July 12th. We'll be doing a webinar about inventory management. So all things inventory, we're going to talk about next month. And we'll have a special guest from our development team to be on here to help us go through that. So thank you all for joining us today. Hope you all have a great rest of your week and a great selling season. And we'll see you soon.
Good luck out there.